Well, the big thing a
So
lot of people will be asking, I think, is which one to buy,
that's what I was just gonna
Oculus
ask.
or
Yeah.
Vive, and it's all. I can't wait to hear what Cyborg has to say. To me, I've only been able to touch HTC Vive. I never played an Oculus or any of that. In my aspect, or in my VR journey of to buy a VR, I asked some of my friends that already have VR, as well as my mentor, who does help me out with all my computer parts and everything, and every single one of them said the HTC Vive, for the mere fact that, not that Oculus is bad in any way, it's just that the Vive seems to have grasped the virtual reality a little bit better. I don't know too much specs in wise. Again, I never tested the Oculus to say, yeah, there's this reason and this. I believe CyborgAngel has, because again, she's been a VR enthusiast. But
Yeah.
the HTC Vive is freaking awesome. Like I purchased it, or I was gifted it from my community, very thankfully, to be able to broadcast these VR streams to our show. And with that being said, oh shit, I just lost it, man. I got the fish. Don't worry about
a
it.
little bit of the trail, because that's my brand right there. Is just like it trails off, and you're like, oh, where did it go?
I forgot. Don't worry about me. Next, okay, Cyborg, yes.
Yeah, Cyborg. Did you do like side-by-side comparisons? Did you get your hands on both of them, or did you just look at like the reviews?
I mean, I did. It was mainly reviews. I did test out the Oculus very, very briefly, but the reviews and the information of how you set up each one, and where they, well, as in like get actually set up. So I'll explain in a second wires and like connections wise why I think the HTC is better. Don't get me wrong though, the Oculus has amazing controllers, amazing freaking controllers. They are so much better than the HTC Vives. But when I looked at the specs of stuff and the setup, so how many wires you needed, how many connections you needed,
it's a lot of wires.
Yeah, exactly, a lot. And the fact that where the HTC Vive were aiming to go and where the Oculus was aiming to go, it's like the Oculus is catching up with what the Vive is doing now. Because when the Oculus first came out, and there's so many subjects I need to go on right now, but when the Oculus first came out, the Oculus was designed to be a sit down and look around sort of, and I'm gonna game, but I'm gonna game without really moving or walking, or if you're standing up, you're kind of just turning around, but you're in the same spot. The Vive made theirs and aimed to be, I'm going to walk about, I've got a whole room of space, and this is my area that I can move in, and when I move in this space, I'm going to move in the game. And so they were already 2 steps or 5 steps ahead and thinking, well, we're going to aim past that. So Oculus came out with the original idea, but Vive was like, nah, actually there's more you can do. So I went with the Vive just because of how, not just because of how advanced they wanted to be and how far ahead they were, but also when it comes to the setup. With the Oculus, you have 2 sensors, but you also have to not only plug them in, but if I'm correct, you have to put in USB wires from both the sensors and run it all the way back to your PC. Yeah, you like, Daniel, you know exactly what I'm on about, because already plugging it in is like, wires.